Hey guys, it's Riley or else Thrifted over on Instagram and Poshmark, and today we're going thrifting at Goodwill. I have a decent amount of inventory to work through right now. Oh, you can see some of it in the back of my car. I had to meet someone for dog sitting and they live by a Goodwill. So, you know, there's the trend going around with like girl math right now on like Instagram Reels and TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but well, this is reseller math. When you drive past a Goodwill, might as well track your mileage for reselling and stop at the Goodwill, am I right? So we're gonna go thrifting. Since I don't need a lot of stuff and someone just got in the car in front of me, we're just going for like a half an hour. So this is gonna be what can I find in a half an hour at Goodwill. And off we go into Goodwill. Funny story about this location. I was at a different store and heard two resellers talking, and one of them said this Goodwill sucks and this is where they donate all their bad buys. And I thought that was funny because I find good stuff a lot. So these are a pair of Mark Fisher sandals. I actually think I've sold them before, but since we're out of season and they were $7, I passed on them. If it was May, I might have picked them up, but I think when I sold them, they only sold between 25 and 30 anyway. So depends on the profit you want to make. So here are the shoes, and I was like, oh my gosh, are these Danskos? Oh my gosh, they're Danskos. Please let them not be priced up. They were only $7. This Goodwill likes to price their shoes higher than a lot of the Goodwills around me. As you saw, those Clarks were $15. So I was very surprised they passed on those Danskos. If you see me touching the shoes here, I'm just touching the material because booties often you can tell when they're cheap material, so I don't even flip them over to see what the brand is. I found a Bowden cardigan. I was excited. It was $6. I was like, okay, and then I pulled it out and it was all pilly, and if this was at the bins I would have grabbed it and depilled it, but the depilling would take me like 10-15 minutes, so for $6 I passed. Here is a Royal Robins sweater, which I believe eBay people like to sell. It's $6. I liked the style, but that's only a bins pickup for me because I think it only sell for about $20. Oh, you already saw that Bowden cardigan. I just saw the brand tag sticking out, which is why I went there and pulled it out. This, I believe, is a higher end Banana Republic tag, but still Banana Republic, so passed on that for full price. I went to the sweater section first because we are going into sweater weather and that's what people will be shopping for. However, I feel I often find my best stuff in the out of season sections, which makes sense because resellers and non-resellers usually want to shop the in-season sections. But if you want to check the out-of-season ones and list them when you find them, or maybe hold on to them for the right season. I liked this Airy cardigan. I would have picked it up for myself if it was a different color, and for resale if it was like $1 or $2. But there's just not a whole lot of resale value in American Eagle and Airy pieces. I found this Eloquy sweater for $8, and it was super pilled. And, you know, maybe I would have picked it up if I really needed inventory. But for $8 and needed some work, I would leave that behind. The last video I posted was actually an Eloquy Helps You Source unboxing. I was looking at these because I was like, I wonder if Buy Sell Trade would take them, but I passed. Anyway, that box was pretty bad, so if you want to see me unbox some bad Eloquy inventory, go check that video out. I found this Nick & Zoe sweater. This is a brand that I'll sometimes pick up. $6 is like not a bad price for the retail of the brand, but resale I would think after sitting for a couple months I'd get 25, so I did pass on that piece. I would have picked it up half off. I like to find Nick & Zoe at the bins, or people often say it sells better in bigger sizes. I'm always happy to find Eileen Fisher, especially when it's a tunic priced at $5. Now this needs to go through the wash. There were some spots on it, but after that I think it will clean up pretty nice. So while I was filming that clip, I found this pair of Crocs and I was like, okay, I'll grab them after I'm done with this clip. But then a lady literally snaked around me and grabbed them and she tried them on and I was like, okay, she can have them. But she put them back and they were only $5. So I did grab the $5 Crocs. I think they'll probably only sell for $25, but they were in such good condition and Crocs have a following. I was excited to see this Beyond Yoga label and a half off green colored tag and I was like, sweet. And then I was like all kind of bummed because I noticed how they pinned the tag would put holes in it, but not to worry, it already had holes in it, so I didn't even have to pick it up. Obviously I don't have to pick it up, but want to pick it up with the holes in it. Those shoes looked like expensive vintage shoes, but I don't really want to sell vintage shoes. This is a brand I just discovered a couple weeks ago at Last Chance and I grabbed it. I did some Googling. There's not a whole lot of information about it on the resale market, but it retails pretty high and it looks newer, trendy, possibly sold at Anthropologie, I can't remember. So I decided to give it a try. So now I have this pair and another pair to try out and I'll let you guys know how it sells. I made my way over to the dresses. I love selling dresses year-round, and coming up here is actually an Aster the Label dress. This brand is sold at Nordstrom for sure. I think maybe sometimes Revolve. It was an older style and they wanted $10 for it, so I passed on that. I saw this print sticking out, and we all know when we see one of these prints what it's going to be. It is Lily Pulitzer. They had this priced at $10. Some styles are going to be worth paying $10 for, and some styles are definitely not worth paying $10 for. You can easily look up the style. There's a number on the interior tag and just Google it, and it should come up pretty easily. I did not do that. I should have done that for this dress just because comps on Lily Pulitzer can be all over the place, but I took a risk and was like, yeah, it seems like one that will sell. I know some people check comps on every single piece. I don't do that, and it works out for me, but everyone's got their own business model. I found this Athleta piece, and it was only $7, and I say only $7 because Goodwill has been liking pricing Athleta between like $10 and $14. I liked the style of the dress, but ultimately I ended up leaving it behind. I did not check comps on it, but it was from 2018, and I just feel like I didn't want to pick it up. So I found this Michael Kors, and the only reason I looked at it is because it was a 2X and it was half off. It was actually a blouse, even though it was in the dress section. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. Let's see how plus size Michael Kors does. But then I noticed a stain on the front, and if it was at the bins, I still would have grabbed it, but I don't want to pay $4 for it stained. Lulu's was such a bread and butter staple in my closet for the longest time, but just like resellers are saying, I have noticed a decline in sales, and so I found these two Lulu's pieces. The first one was old, and so I passed on it. The second one seemed newer and new with tags, but they wanted $10, which also seemed just like too much to pay. I probably would have picked it up for like $5 or $6, but since I haven't been selling much Lulu's these days, I left both of those behind. This brand is from Nordstrom. It's ARFM, I think. And it just doesn't have the best following. I think it can actually be sold at Revolve as well. So I contemplated about this piece. I'm like, people always like cheetah print or leopard or whatever that is. And it's a maxi, and it's still a good fall winter piece. But I have a few pieces and they just take forever to sell, or I sit on them and don't sell them. So I left that one behind. The dresses racks were packed really tight this day, like hard to get through. But I just wasn't finding anything. And I'm kind of wondering if that's because everything is just slightly overpriced these days. I think a lot of this will end up at the bins. I found this Torrid blouse. They had it marked at a dress. It was a $5, but I didn't want to pay $8 for it, which is the dress price. I got bored in the dresses since I wasn't finding much, so I walked and looked through athletic stuff, and then pants, and then jeans, and still not finding anything. I found that pair of Madewell. I actually passed on 2 pair of Madewell jeans because they were skinny jeans. And while I would pick up Madewell skinny jeans at the bins or for like $1 or $2, I don't want to pay $7 or $10 for them. So after finding nothing in the other sections, I decided to go back to the dresses and see what I didn't look through. I found this no tag Torrid dress for $8, but I was pretty sure it was missing something where those little grommets were, and it was missing something. It's super easy to look up Torrid pieces, so I looked it up and found out it was missing that little metal neckline piece, so I did leave that behind. I found a little patch of soft surrounding clothing here, and this brand looked interesting, but it was a tank. Anyway, if you did not know, Soft Surroundings actually filed for bankruptcy, and so they're being absorbed by Coldwater Creek, and I don't know if that means everything's going to be the same and it's sold through there. Who knows? Anyway, this was a 1X and it was new with buttons for $8, so I grabbed that. This was very worn for $8, so I left that one behind, and I do end up finding another Soft Surroundings piece that I have to leave behind as well due to wear, and again, it'd probably be an easy fix with the sweater shaver, but investing $8 in a piece and then a 10-15 minute sweater shaving it on top of that, I just don't feel like doing that for a $25, $30, $32 sale. Here is a Lane Bryant dress, and Lane Bryant is another plus size brand. They had this price at $7. Well, it doesn't sell very well for me. It was a size 28, and I thought it was a good fall color, even though it was sleeveless. I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. But then I discovered a run in the fabric. So for a brand that already doesn't sell super well for me, I decided to leave that behind. This looked interesting. The brand, the print, everything about it. And so I passed on it, but then I went back to it and checked comps, and it looks like it can do okay. I probably would have grabbed it for half off or at the bins to try it out and learn more about the brand, but for $5 I passed on a tank. This was J. Crew Collection, which is higher end J. Crew, and I thought about grabbing it, but then I saw that stain, so I left it behind. We are coming to the end of our Thrift With Me adventure, and you may notice it's only a 10-minute video, and I ended up being there for an hour, so this day just wasn't awesome. I saw this Naruto tank, or excuse me, graphic tee sticking out, and it was half off, and while I don't think I can sell this, even though I'll look it up and see, I do think Buy Sell Trade will buy it for me and price it at like $15 or $16, which I get 50% of. I was heading to the register, but then was like, you know what? I found some good shoes. Let me check the rest of the shoe racks and see what I can find. I found these Vince slip-on suede sneakers, and while I don't think they'll do amazing, I think I can probably get like $28 to $33 for them. Then I found these kids' native shoes, which they had priced at $4, and these will probably only sell between $16 and $20, but I like selling natives, so I got them. And lastly, I found these Supergas. They are leather Supergas. They are often in canvas or printed as well. They have a following. They're sometimes sold at Anthropologie. So for $7, I grabbed them, and I'll hope to sell those for about $30. I also liked that, but didn't pick it up because it was Old Navy. And this is the final cart. I'm done. It has been actually an hour, so I guess this is a thrift with me, what I can find in an hour. And my labor was not very fruitful. There was just not much to pick from today. And you know, you saw some of the the better pieces I found were flawed. So it was actually an okay shoe day. Not that I need to add to my shoe death pile, but I did. So time to go home. I need to edit this video for tomorrow. I need to list my teeny tiny hiney off and send offers to likers and just do all the reseller stuff. So if you guys like reseller content, feel free to subscribe to this channel and get recommended more reseller content from other creators. Also subscribe if you like Thrift With Me adventures, even when they're not so fruitful. That is all from me today. I will see you guys soon in another video. Goodbye.